Aidan, thank you so much for taking the time to come on my podcast again to go over some of the stories which have gone viral by now. A lot of people are very interested in them, particularly this one incident. You were sort of stranded in the Peruvian Andes at a very high altitude. Talk to me about that. You were only 20 years old at the time. Do you have PTSD from that incident?
First of all, thank you so much for having me back.
Of course.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I wouldn't say I have PTSD. If anything, I'm excited to get into a similar situation again soon.
Really?
Right now I'm in Boston and life is just very stable.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that adventure and mixing things up.
Yeah, I love that. So take me back to that moment. You're in the Andes, you're with your friend. How did you become stranded to begin with?
We came into this little Peruvian town. We saw this volcano in the distance.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, that looks huge. That looks awesome. It had snow you could see from a distance, coating the peak.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a solitary volcano. And on the right, there was a volcanic range, super high.
Yeah.
So we were deciding, like, do we want to hike like that one volcano or the range? And the highest volcano in the range was like right above Mount Kilimanjaro's elevation.
Yes.
And the other one was like right below, but it was supposed to have better views. And we decided, okay, let's start looking into this volcano and see if this is doable or not. We were looking into it and it was like, okay, the Spanish guys came back and they were crying when they see their tent because they were just glad to come back alive. So we were like, of course, let's do it. We love the danger, we love the excitement.
Yeah,
and,
I love that.
So we did. So
Okay, so you're at over 19,000 feet at this point. What was that moment like when you realized you were lost? Because that's that sort of terror moment when your primal instincts come out. It's very rare. Tell us about that.
What happened was the entrance to the volcano was through this gate, and you had to sign in. And we saw that no one had been there in 6 months. It was going to be a 3-day trek. We were going to have to bring all of our water and be like completely self-sufficient without a guide. So, we go up the first night, boom, done, walk through a ghost town. There were shredded up IDs on the floor, shredded up Peruvian flags waving in the wind, wild dogs barking, ghost town, not a single person there. We start walking up the volcano for another day, camp out, and on the third day, we start our ascent even more. So that second night we slept at around 16,000 feet. We start at midnight and we're climbing up into the mist, getting higher and higher. And I'm with my best friend, Lava. He had never really hiked before, but I love hiking. So I got him right into this. I threw him right into this situation. And, we start climbing, and he's going slowly. I can tell he has altitude sickness. But we have like these little smelling salts and we keep smelling them. It really wakes you up and it keeps you alert, and it helped us keep going. So we kept climbing up, and through the mist, in the darkness, no visibility, could barely see anything, pure rain.
That's just fascinating. You've been getting a lot of comments, obviously, since the last video, and you have a large female audience. Are you single? They seem to be very interested in.
I am single.
A lot of female commenters have been asking, what do you look for in a woman?
Someone with a lot of depth and willingness to be spontaneous, willingness to adventure, come with me. And a really important thing for me is not worshiping money.
I love that.
That's a big thing in our society, and
yeah.
The environment I'm in, it's rare to find someone that's not obsessed with that.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It's a huge green flag for me.
Yeah, I love that. That's really great. Just to sort of wrap things up, what's your opinion on the Russia-Ukraine war?
Did you see that Trump just bombed Iran?
I didn't see that. When did that happen?
Today, bro.
Really? Wow.
He bombed Iran, and I don't know, you might be able to pull up the tweet in post-production. We just bombed Iran's nuclear facility.
Wait, so there were American aircraft bombing Iran?
Iran, yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. What is your message to all of the countries around the world who are involved in wars currently?
Stay strong, the U.S. is with you.
There was this controversy recently. Obviously, the town of Flint, Michigan, the water supply has been in question for quite a while. What's your message to the people of Flint?
Stay hydrated.
There have been a number of high-profile incidents in our country recently surrounding train crashes, chemical spills, etc. What's your message to all of the people around the U.S. who are living in a town where there's been a train disaster recently?
Stay strong. I'm lucky enough to not be in that situation.
You've seen the charts and statistics and everything. Anxiety and depression has been on the rise in our country recently. What's your message to all the youth out there who are struggling?
In America, we live in a very introverted culture right now, especially in cities. A big part that leads to that is, you've talked about this in some of your podcasts, about tribalism. We used to have to talk to our neighbors and, have differing opinions. But now it's easy to retreat to a Reddit forum that says exactly what you want to hear.
100%.
Source that says exactly what you want. Talk to new people. Talk to people that look like you might not be friends with them. If you think you're the coolest athlete, go talk to the guy that looks like a nerd, because they're probably even cooler than you. People are generally good at heart.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's good interactions to be had with everyone.
Yeah. What's your message to the people in Ukraine right now, given everything that's been happening recently?
We haven't forgot about you. There's a constant war, and a big thing in the U.S. is creating more and more news to divert attention from what actually matters. You have the stuff going on with Elon Musk tweeting about Trump being on the Epstein list. Meanwhile, people are wasting time talking about that while countries are being bombed. It's not like we're forgetting about that. The message I have for any country that's in a war, we see the horrors, we see the atrocities of war.
What's your message to Elon Musk?
To anyone that's a billionaire, money is power and energy, right? You gotta be giving back. Like I've said, in the society, we worship money a lot. We shouldn't be on Jane Street using microtransactions and quantum computing with the smartest people while, we could be solving world hunger and peace and
Wait, what did you say? Did you say we shouldn't be doing quantum computing?
No, I'm down to do quantum computing, but at this point you're just making rich people richer by doing a bunch of microtransactions. The smartest people, a lot of times they get recruited by the highest salaries.
Aidan, I can't let you bring up quantum computing if you're gonna diminish it like that. One final thought before we wrap up, Aidan, and again, I want to just say thank you so much for taking the time to come on the pod and everything. What's your opinion on Elon Musk's dating habits? He has fathered more than 10 children with several women. What's your opinion on that? Would you engage in that?
I really strive for loyalty with any relationships, romantic or not.
Yeah.
I like to keep my circle. I like to talk to a lot of different people and be able to expand, but at the heart of my circle, I like to keep it close, and it's my friends that are really my friends, or family, and I'm searching for that wife. I personally want to raise kids in an environment that they can watch their parents be in love.
Nice. I love that. I know you're a really busy man. Just one final question before we wrap up.
Of course.
The other day I was in Boston downtown, and there were 3 things happening: the Red Sox game, as well as the Pride Parade, as well as the large protest.
So I'd say stay on the rise, stay peaceful.
I love that. Aidan, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. I'm going to end the pod in 3, 2, 1.